Welcome to 3D Amazon FBA. Today I'm going to talk about something different. I want to help people like save money and stuff like that. You know, not just all Amazon all the time. So today I thought I would talk to you guys about how you should go about like going to buy a car. My last regular job I had before I started doing Amazon full time was I sold cars for Toyota. And the way the car dealers, they have several ways of sticking you, because you know they're all trying to screw you. They're trying to make as much money as they can, and they have several avenues of trying to screw over or maximize their profits from the people buying the car. So of course, sticker price, you never want to pay sticker price. You always want to haggle. There's always room for them to lower the price, especially on used cars. Dealerships make way more money on used cars than they do new cars, and it's not even close. If you really need to haggle on used cars, because that they really gouge you on the used cars. So the first thing you want to do is, if you're going to go buy a car, whether it's new or used, the first thing you want to do is go down to your credit union and get pre-approved for a loan. Dealerships, the way they make the most money is gouging you on the interest rate. Even if they're not giving you the loan, they increase the interest rate and they'll get kickback from the bank. So, for example, Capital One offers, say, 8% interest rate or whatever. They'll offer you, like, say, 10 or 11%, and then they make that difference. That 3% interest will go to the dealership. So the first thing you want to do, always get pre-approved for a car loan. But you don't tell the dealership, whenever you get to the car dealership, don't tell them you're pre-approved until the very last minute, because I'm trying to save you money. Okay, so that's the first thing you do. You always want to get pre-approved. And then, you go down to the dealership, and you really want to look at several cars, not just one car. But so you go there, you test drive, you pick out your car, and during this process, not all dealers and not all salesmen will try to do this, but they are going to try to sell you something more expensive than you're saying. So if you tell them, I only want a car for $15,000, they're going to take you to something $17,000, $18,000. And that's fine, because you're still going to try to negotiate the price down, but they are going to try to stick you with more car than you tell them that you want. So just be prepared, stay firm, and stick with what you want, because they don't care if you buy what you want. They don't care about anything besides selling you more than what you want to buy, because they're trying to make their money. That's how they support their kids or whatever. So you go, you pick out your car, you're comfortable with the price of the car, and you want to haggle as much as you can. So what they'll do is, you'll go and you say, I only want to spend $15,000 or whatever on a car, and they're going to try to get you like $18,000 car, and the salesman is going to go in there and I'll tell you, because I've seen it. They'll go in there, they'll make fun of you. The salesman will tell the desk manager, the guy that has all the power to put all your deal together, and he's going to say, look, my guy said this, my guy said that, but my customer says he only wants to do $15,000. Okay, he says his payment, he can't go for a $300 payment, and just any information, even if it's personal information. So the desk manager is going to tell them, okay, here's what you tell them. Okay, we're going to first offer them like a $400 payment, because and they know customers aren't always going to be honest too, because customers are trying to get the best price. So they're going to come at you with payment. They're going to try to not really tell you the price of the car. They will not tell you the interest rate unless you really push it. They're not going to tell you the interest rate. And they're going to, the first pencil, they call it a pencil, they are going to come back, you say $400 if you tell them you want a $300 payment. And they're testing you. They're trying to gauge where you're at. You know, they're just bluffing you. Especially the first pencil. So, of course, they're going to come at you with more than you want to pay. And what they're doing is they're giving you probably the highest interest rate. The first pencil, they're not reducing the price of the car, and they're really testing you. So you have to stay firm. You say, you know, I don't want $400 payment. I'm not willing to go over a $300 payment. You know, the price of the car, you didn't knock anything off the price of the car. You know, stuff like TrueCar and stuff like that, other websites, you know, they're not really very honest with what car prices go off of. I mean, it's a good estimate, but if you start bringing that stuff off, you're going to piss them off really quick. If you start like quoting TrueCar, stuff like that, because dealerships don't use that as any kind of a basis. You know, and TrueCar has been sued multiple times by many dealers because TrueCar is not even honest. So don't feel bad if you make the salesman run back and forth several times. If you feel that $300 is the most payment you can do, stick to it. If you think the car is valued at $15,000 and they're telling you $18,000, stick to it. Don't feel bad for making the salesman go back and forth, because he's going to make money on you if you're really buying the car. And you know, you need to look out for yourself and not the salesman, because you know it's your family and they're going to screw you if they can. So don't feel bad if you get a really good deal. So stay firm. Don't give on what you're willing to do for payment. He'll go back and forth 20 times if that's what it takes. So once you feel you've got them down on price as much as you can, ask for the interest rate. And it's always going to be high unless you have like 750 score. They know they're not going to be able to screw you too much. But you know, always make sure you know the interest rate. And this is why you don't tell them that you've already got pre-approved for a loan at your credit union or your bank. And they'll come to the high interest rate, like 7, 8, 9%. You know, sometimes higher. I've seen them come at people. I mean, never had bad credit, but I've seen people with car loans around 20% interest rate before. Okay, so the salesman will go, he'll come back, say, oh, you're, 7%, whatever. Then you drop the bomb. Oh, I've already been pre-approved. And, you need to have your letter from your bank, credit union, whatever. Say, oh, I got pre-approved for 4% or whatever down at my credit union. And their jaw will probably just drop. And be like, oh, fuck. Oh, man, we ain't making any money on this car deal now because we're not going to get a cut of this. We already dropped the price and whatever. And they'll get mad. You'll be able to see it in their face that they're pretty upset that you got one over on them. So, then you'll get your bottom price on the car. At that point, is you've got your bottom price, and you'll know that you got a good deal at this point. Assuming you're comfortable with the payment and all that stuff. So once you say, okay, I'm willing to buy this car $300 a month or whatever the payment is, then they're going to send you to finance, which you have to do anyways because you have to sign all your papers and all that stuff. So you go back there, they're going to try to sell you gap insurance, they're going to try to sell you extended warranties, and they're just going to try to sell you anything they can, anything. So even when they say, okay, our gap insurance is $1,000, haggle on that, because they would much rather they'd much rather sell you something than nothing, because their margin on like gap insurance is like 90%, because it costs them paper, and that's about all it costs them, because most people don't use gap insurance. It's something that's good to have unless you make a big down payment, because what gap insurance does is if your car is worth 15,000 but you owe 18 because you've got interest and stuff like that, plus cars devalue. If you buy a new car, you just lost $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in value once you drive it off the lot. So gap insurance is good to have because it covers that money that you're upside down on your car. But if you're dropping $3,000-$5,000 deposit or down payment on the car, you don't need gap insurance. They'll try to sell it to you still, but if you're putting down a big down payment, you're not going to be upside down, and gap insurance is worthless. So haggle on the gap insurance because it's over like 90% margin for them to sell it to you. So there is room to drop the price for that. And the same with the extended warranty, especially if you buy new cars. Because you already have covered on your warranty. Honestly, if you're buying a new car, I personally, you do what you want to do because it's a lot of peace of mind and stuff like that. But they're going to sell you an extended warranty. Most of the time on new cars, you're never going to use it. Let's be honest, the car's brand new. It has a manufacturer's warranty, which covers the main issues that'll come up with your car. So they're going to try to sell you that, and that's another couple $1,000s. And for the most part, it's like free money for them because they know their new cars generally aren't going to have issues. So they're going to try to sell you all this stuff in the back to get more money out of you. And again, they do have room to drop the price, and you don't just say, okay, yeah, I need the extended warranty. Yeah, okay, I need gap insurance. Haggle on gap insurance because they have room to haggle because it's free money for them for the most part. So that's pretty much my tips on how to buy a car. That's what I would do. My SUV I have now, it's I'm refinancing it today. I really felt that they were screwing me on the interest rate, just like I told you, and I do think they screwed me on the interest rate. I did complain. I did try to haggle. They wouldn't come off the interest rate thing. They wouldn't drop the interest rate. So I needed it for Amazon because I went from a Corolla to a CRV and I needed the space. So I dealt with it. But I'm refinancing my car today and my interest rate's dropping like 7% from what I've been paying the last 3 or 4 months I've had the car. So I just thought I'd give you guys a little helping hand, give people some tips on how to buy a car. So I hope you got some value from this. Hopefully next time you go buy your new car, I saved you some money. If you guys can like and subscribe to my channel, I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching.